Thank you for joining me. Debbie Chronister. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I'm here today to show you a really fun project that I have for you. So this is the project that I'm going to show you today. It's how I made this cute little box here. And it was, I found it online and the gal didn't want to give out her instructions. So I just went ahead and worked it up and created my own. Her box was bigger than mine. This part was 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Mine's 1.5 inches wide and 3/4 of an inch deep because that's what I wanted. And it has this cute little pocket over here that you could put a gift card in. So it'd be a nice little treat. You could put some candy in here. You could put candles. The little tea lights fit in there. You could put those in here and then put a little gift card in the pocket here. So this is the one I'm going to make. I'll show you a couple others. So this is one that I made with the Bright and Cozy kit. It's a kit that I have been working with, and I'll show you some other Bright and Cozy cards that I made and that I'm doing in a class. So this one is one that I made. And then I have one more. This one was made with the Gnome DSP. That's what this came from. And then the snowflakes came from the Season of Chic, one of our stamp sets. It's the coordinating dies, the chic dies. So they came from this. So, and then the greeting is from Inspired Thoughts, which is in our annual catalog. It's this one here that I use, but we have so many great greetings. This one down here would be beautiful. Wishing you all the beautiful gifts of Christmas. Okay, let's get going on this. You set these things aside, but there's lots of work. Also, if you look on my blog, the instructions are wrong. I discovered last night at 11 o'clock at night that I wanted the instructions to be different, that there was a way to do this that made it a little easier. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I just flipped that right out of there, trying to lower it. And I can't lower it and tip it up. Okay. Let's get back on here. Okay. There. That's what I needed to do, was just lower it there. Okay. Let's get it all straightened out again. I'm so sorry. Pop that out of there. Okay. I wanted it to be a little bit lower so you guys could see the measurements here. So let me just try doing this one more time without dropping you or the phone. There. Okay, now you'll be able to see better. Maybe. Okay, so the measurements on there are wrong, so give me some time and I'll get it flipped around and do it the right way. What I learned last night is by, I had originally scored it this way, and if I do the scoring with these measurements, then all my score lines fold the right way. So I'll show you when we get there. So I'm going to start with my paper trimmer and a piece of real red cardstock. And this just needs to coordinate with whatever color you're going to use. And I'm going to cut off 1 inch because I need my paper to be 7.5 inches. So I'm going to cut off 1 inch, just like that. And then I'm going to go from here over, I'm going to go back and forth a lot today, from here over to my scoreboard. Grab that here. It's, of course, I've already got stuff piled on it. And I'm going to bring my scoring board in. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to turn this way, and I'm going to score these lines first. So I'm going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 1/4 inches. And then the last one will be 6 3/4. This is the bottom. The 6 3/4 inch section is the bottom. And this is the top. Okay, so we're going to then rotate this. So we have the top at the top. and I'm going to score at 3 inches all the way down. Then at 6 inches, I'm only going to score at the top to the intersection line, to the intersecting score line. I've got a fly bothering me. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to go to that intersecting score line at 6 again. Then I'm going to turn it back over. And I'm going to score at 7.5 all the way down, 8 1/4 all the way down, 9 3/4 all the way down, and 1/2 inch. 10.5 inches all the way down, 1/2 inch. It left me a 1/2 inch there. Now, when I fold, all my fold lines, my score lines will be folded the correct way. These are all valleys, so they're going to fold this way and they'll be folded the correct way. Okay, there's one more thing that I'm going to do. No, I'll wait and do it afterwards. Okay. I'm sorry, I have a fly that's bugging me. All right, now I'm going to grab a pair of scissors. From here. And I'm going to find that little 6-inch section where I only scored down a little ways. And I'm going to just trim that straight in, just like that. Because I don't want to cut that. That's the section that I don't want to cut. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to trim that straight in just like that. Okay, now this is the tricky part. I am going to place this in my paper trimmer. And I'm going to cut off this whole section up here, which is everything above that score line. So I'm going to put it at 1 1/4 inches. And I'm going to cut down to this, line right here. This is that 6-inch score line. So I'm going to cut, and our paper is not exactly 11 inches. So when you come down here, come down until you feel it drop. That's why I had it cut first. And that looks like 6 inches right there. That is going to cut off. We're going to take that off. I didn't cut all the way down. So I have a funny little thing. Okay, now I'm just going to leave it in there. And I'm going to go to the end down here. I'm at the very bottom. And I'm going to cut up to that score line, which is this one now. So there's a score line, and it's at 7.5 inches that I'm going to go to. Just right there. And then I'll be able to remove this section. Okay. We're done with those. Now I'm going to turn it around to the 3/4 inch mark. These all down here are going to be my box, so I don't want to do anything to those. And put this at the 3/4 inch mark, and I'm going to score to what is now a 5-inch mark. Okay. So I'm going to score to 5 inches from the bottom. I'm just going to make sure this is straight. And it's at 3/4. Okay, we're going to go up to this, and I should feel it drop, but I'm not going to because I didn't cut up far enough. So make sure you cut these up far enough. I didn't. So that's going to go to right there. Okay. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is this is my top. And so this is what's going to make my box at the top. So I'm just going to trim those at an angle so that they'll fit in there smoothly. Then I'm going to come down to the bottom and I'm going to trim these so that they are at an angle. And I want the smaller ones. Those are my tabs that are going to fold into my box. And I want those to be smaller and I want them to be at an angle like that. And you'll find a cutting pattern on my Ron. Please step away. Please step away. Thank you. You'll find a cutting pattern on my blog. Sorry about that. My husband came in here and opened a bag. He's having a snack, which is fine, but he can't come in here and open his bag. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this at an angle here. And I'm going to cut this top at an angle, just like that. Okay, so now this is my 1/2 inch mark over here that I cut at an angle. So you'll notice there's no score line in here, which is what we want. We want that nice firm straight across. And let me just, I'm going to trim out these and clean them up where I didn't cut deep enough. And let's get that one a little bit. Okay, now let's get this going. We're going to need that cutter again, but for now, we'll get started. Okay, so I have cut a few pieces here for this, and I have, let's see, let's start with these two. So this is a 1 3/8, I believe. I will put all these measurements on my blog. That's 1 3/8 by 5 3/8, and then this is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. I am going to adhere these two together, and I'm using glue because I'm going to cut out a hole in the center, and so I don't want tape hanging out the edge. And I want to be careful not to get too much glue, and I don't want glue in the center where I'm going to cut out. I could actually use that for something else. I can peel those two apart. And I should have put my glue on here. I don't know why I keep doing that. But I do lately. Oh, that's the wrong side. Ah, okay, we're going to make this one different. This one's going to be the striped. That's fine, because that's on the other side of the dotted paper. So this one's going to be striped, and that's all right. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my die cut machine here. And I might have to move you up for this one. Just to get you. Okay. Okay, this is our scan, cut, and emboss machine. And I'm just going to come in just like that. And I would love to cut through all 3 layers at the same time, because that little strip is going to go on the front of my box. However, it will not work. It won't cut through 3 layers. And I am going to eyeball this, but I am going to put a Post-it note on it just to hold it in place while it's going through there. So let's just do that. And I have the plates are 1 and 2, and then I have a 3 there. And I need 1 more 3 here. What do I do with my other 3? It's laying here on the table. And I did not measure, I'm just guesstimating, because whatever I do, it's going to work. And I put the handle on the wrong side. So turn that a little bit in order to get it through without the shaking. The phone's supposed to stabilize the shaking. Okay, so let's put that away. And let's bring back in my pad and all my papers. Okay, so now we have this cut. And what I'm going to do is I want to line this up on my cardstock here, and it's going to go in the second box from the right. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see those score lines at all, but it's going to go right in here. 1, 2, 3, actually the third one. And I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to trace it. So once I have it in there positioned exactly where I want it, I'm just going to trace that opening. A good line there so I can see it. And then I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and because this one you're not going to see from the outside and you won't look on the inside. So this one is going to be cut with a paper trimmer. And so I can see my line right through the middle here. So I'm just going to start down here because I can see my score line here, or my pencil line, and cut up there. And to go a little bit higher, a little harder when you want to try to keep your head out of the camera. Then I'm going to move it over and find that line that I drew under there. And I'm just trying to keep this as straight as possible so that it's centered in there. I'm lifting my my cutting blade. Now here it's a little harder because I have this white on here, so I can't see as well. So I'm going to have to guesstimate on this one and then just lift it and check it out. That one's good. So let's come down here. We can come a little lower here. So because of where I placed my die, everybody's is going to be different. So you just want to go by with whatever you have. Now I can turn this sideways and we're going to cut between those two lines. So I want to make sure that I have it in the center there. And I'm just going to come off the edge with my edge. And so you can see I'm not exact, I'm off. But it'll be okay. Nobody will ever know it. And bring this one down here. And let's slide it up a little bit. And I'm going to come from there over to my line. And I'm going to go back a little bit. So if I overshoot, it just makes a little opening, but we're going to put something in there that'll take care of all of that. Because we're going to put a window sheet in there. Let me trim that out. Okay, now I have cut a window sheet. And I will tell you, Stampin' Up's window sheet is so good. It's so thick. You guys can hear that? It's nice and thick. So I've cut a piece that is 1 3/8 by, what I want is by 4. 4 1/4, right in there. 4 to 4 1/4, whatever you have there. So I have that, and I'm going to put that. So I'm going to hide it. So the window sheet will be there, but you won't see it. So I'm just going to put some adhesive right across here and across here, maybe. Well, come on. There we go. And if I put this underneath, I bet I could put a little bit going down the sides. So I'm working on the front of my box, and I don't want glue all over the sides too, but I do want that to stick. So I'm just going to place that. You know what, guys? I'm going to trim this off a little bit more. So I think 1 1/4 would be better. That's probably going to stick now. 1 1/4. Yeah. 1 3/8 is just a little bit wide. So I would say 1 1/4. Now that's better. Okay, because that's going to hide. Otherwise, this is 1 3/8 and it may show through. So then this is going to go over top and it should line up perfectly with the opening. Now for this, I am going to use the green glue or the mono liquid adhesive. And And just, you want to watch not too much on the sides because it'll ooze out and look nasty. And if it does, get yourself an adhesive eraser, let it dry first, and grab an adhesive eraser and then take it out. Okay, and that is the wrong end at that end. I do that every time, it seems like. Okay, you can see by the way it's lining up on the center whether or not you've got the right end up, because my ends aren't exactly even. Okay, there is my candy section. So we're going to let that dry a little bit and we're going to work on this over here. Now I have cut two pieces, one of DSP and one of white cardstock. The white cardstock is 5 1/4 by 2 7/8, and this is 5 1/8. No, it's 5 1/4. Shouldn't be. Wait a minute. Let's see. This should be 5 3/8. It is 5 3/8 by 2 7/8, and this is 5 1/4 by 2 by 2 3/4. Yeah. Okay. So this would, and like I said, those measurements be on my blog, and that's why I usually don't tell you guys when I'm on here. Okay. So this is the front of my box. This is my box section. And so this is the front here. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to do that just to remind me of what's going on here. This is going to be the front of my, this is going to fold over like this. Okay. So this is where we're going to place these two pieces when we're all done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line them up from side to side. I want them all the way to the top, both of them. And I found this is the most accurate way to do this. Let me, oh, there it is. I'm going to grab, this is the dotted mono adhesive and it sticks for a while. I'm just going to put a little bit of that on there, put my hands on it so it's not super sticky, but so that it'll stick enough for me to do this. I'm going to line this up from side to side, like I said. And then I have this, and I have put a 3-inch mark right here. So it's 3 inches from the top. So we're going to turn this over because we're going to use the other side here. So I'm going to mark this over again because I need it on this side. Okay, so now I have a 3-inch mark right here. So I come down 3 inches. This is the top. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on there as well. Take off some of the stickiness. And I'm going to center that from side to side and go all the way to the top. Okay, now let's get our paper trimmer. It will work with this paper trimmer. Just make sure you have a sharp blade and you're patient. So I'm going to put that. So my 3-inch mark is right here. And this is my score line right over here. So I put my score line and my 3-inch mark, and I'm going to cut. And I'm going to hold this down really firm and cut back and forth a couple of times. And boom, we have it out. Okay, now let's put it together. Okay, so remember, this is the front of the card that we're working with. So we can put these two together. And see that adhesive stuck long enough for me to make that cut, but not enough to make it stay. Okay, so I'm going to pull that off there. Now look at that. It lines up perfectly. Before, when I was trying to do it, I was ending up with my cuts coming down because I was marking 3 inches, and every time I marked 3 inches on another layer, it was lower and lower and lower. So this way it was, they come out exactly the same. So that edge there where the bend is, where the fold is, the bend, I guess it is going to line up perfectly. And so I'm going to fold this over, and this is going to go on the outside of the card, just like that. And we have to move up. So each one's cut a little bit shorter, but perfectly on there. All right, then I have a piece that I cut for the inside, which 2 7/8 by 5. And I know it's short, and I wanted it short so that when I put my tear and tape, it will adhere to the card and not to this layer. Because if for some reason this layer came loose, it could pull. And I'm just going to put this up here, right, just leaving the littlest margin around there, the 1/16 of an inch on each side. And that should be perfect. All right, let's close our box up. So to do the box, finish it up, I am going to take my bone folder and I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to crease all of these just so that they're nicely, they'll lay nice that way. Okay, and that one doesn't fold. So this one does, and that does. And all of these little ones at the bottom fold up, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to fold this over. Now I'm going to put my tear and tape on the outside here. I didn't finish folding these, did I? It's almost easier if you don't on some of this. Okay, so I'm going to put my tear and tape on the outside of my box, on that outside flap here. Just right along there. Okay. And then I'm peeling that off. I'm going to fold this under like that, and I'm going to fold this over. I know it looks like it's going to go in the wrong place, but you see what's happening? This, even though it's coming over here, this is going to lay in there. You could also do it this way, fold that under and lay this down right there. Just like that. Either one of those methods will work, and we'll line it up so that you have a nice square box. Okay, for the bottom of my box, I'm going to fold in my flaps, and I'm just going to use green glue and put a little bit here to hold my flaps down and line that up. Give it a minute to dry, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. Now you could use tear and tape there as well. It would dry much quicker. And then I'm going to stick my bone folder in the top up here and press it down. Okay, we're almost done. I am going to put some tear and tape around the inside edge of this. And so that's going to come down here and across here. Get back in camera view. Huh? Okay. I'm going to peel that up and close up my pocket. And there is that one. And this will close at the top. So I have this beautiful garden green ribbon, which is garden green. This is garden green here. And I'm going to wrap this around. How I figure out how much I need is I'm going to overlap. I'm going to start here and I'm going to run down to here. So that'll tell me how much I need for that bow. And it's probably more than what I need, but we're going to do it that way. That's how I use it for a guide to be sure I have enough. So before you tie your knot, you'll want to put your candy inside, but I'm going to just go ahead and tie that. And just like that. And then let's trim those tails. Okay, now for the front, I have already cut my candy canes. I would recommend putting the candy canes. The candy canes came out of the designer series paper, but you could also stamp them and die cut them. I used the sweet candy canes on this one. And so you could do it either way. And I would recommend putting it on something firmer, just because they're kind of delicate. So let's go ahead and put our candy canes on. This one is going to get a little glue at the bottom here. I don't want too much glue because remember, it's going to stick up above. So this one, we can go down a little further, a lot further. How about that? We'll go down to there. And then this one, we'll put over here. And we'll go higher with that one. Okay. Now I'm going to tie a bow for my candy canes there. But before I do that, I have some gold twine thread. It comes with gold and silver both in the package. And I have some of the flat Jingle Ball trinkets. And I'm going to grab one of those. And I'm going to show you a trick. Okay, dental flossing tools. I love these tools. They're great. These have not been used on flossing. They're just for my crafts. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to slide it through there. And then I'm going to slide it through my bell. Okay. Remember which way I go. I think I go this way. Now you can see that I'm stuck here now. My my little flossing thing is stuck inside. If I feed that back through the bell, it will come off the ribbon. It'll come off the ribbon, the cord. So it just comes right off. Oops, come on. Oh, you have to cut it, I guess. You do have to cut it. There, now we have it off. Okay, so my flossing tool is still in good condition and I can reuse it. I had to cut the other end of the thread. Okay, so let's put this through and make a little hanger here. There we go. That's what I wanted. So that is on my bell and on the front of it. And then I'm just going to tie a knot in these two, kind of like a sewing knot. And go through there. And we're going to use that threader again. And we're going to thread. We may not need it on this one. So I'm going to just put my ribbon through here. See if I can just poke it through there. There we go. And then I'm going to tie my bow. Just leaving that ribbon like that. Okay, and then my little bell will hang down from my bow. And I have a sweet little bow here with a bell on it. Okay, so I'm going to trim off those ends. And I'm going to attach this with a glue dot to my little candy canes here. Let's get this pulled down so it lays flat. And there we are. And there is my project for today. So if I have a gift card, I think my gift card's in my other, you can slip your gift card in here, just like that. Get that little bell to lay flat. There. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you need any supplies, please check out stampwithdeb.com.